The date is 4/22. We are continuing with section 13.1. All right, I want everybody to take out your scientific calculator because we're going to make sure we still know how to do this. Remember, we said every calculator is different, so you have to know your calculator. You have a sine, cosine, and tangent button on your calculator. And sometimes you just hit the button, and sometimes you have to use the shift key first. When did we have to use the shift key first? When it didn't give you the angle. When you were looking for the angle measure. All right, so very quickly, I want us all on our calculators to find the sine of 70 degrees.
Round to what?
Nearest 10. And you should have 0.9. Okay, let's make sure you don't have to write all this down. You already have this in your notes from the other day. Okay, we've done this already. This is a refresher. Find on your calculator the tangent of 35. You should get 0.7. If you're not getting it, you need to figure out why or ask me and I'll come help you. Find the cosine of 62. You should get 0.5. The cosine of 12. Actually, it's 1. The tangent of 5 would be 0.1. And the sine of 82, again, would be 1. Okay?
Wait, why is it tan 5? I get like 0.08.
Round to the nearest 10th. If I'm rounding to the nearest 10th, I look at the number right next to it. And I round up to 0.1. Okay? It's all right. Okay. In this case, when we punch it into our calculator, we have to use what? The shift key, or the second key. Okay. Remember, knowing your calculator is important. Find the value of x in this case. You're right there. We'll round again to the nearest 10th. And remember, you are looking for an angle measure. You should have gotten 41.8.
Wait, would you do a few shifts in?
2/3.
2 divided by 3.
2 divided by 3, or 2 using your fraction key, you can say 2/3. Find the value of x and tangent of x equals 5/6. Checking yourself as we go. Okay. Are you confident in your use of your calculator?
Yes.
Good.
No.
Are you serious? Okay, we also looked at how to manipulate an equation based on where the variable is located and how are you going to get that variable by itself. All right? It's not just because it's a sine function or a cosine function. This is an equation. In number 21, the unknown variable is located in the numerator of a fraction, and our goal is to get it by itself. What's the opposite of x divided by 10? Multiply by 10. So following our standard rules for isolating our variable that we learned in like 5th grade, we do the opposite of what's happening to x. But what we do to one side, we must also do to the other. So we need to make sure we know how to manipulate the equations to get x by itself. In this case, we would simply multiply 10 times the tangent of 30. And you should get 5.8. All right? In number 22, x is now in the denominator of the fraction. X is a fraction right now. If I want to find the value of x, I have to make it a whole number. So there are actually 2 steps that need to be taken to get x by itself, but ultimately what happens? These 2 simply switch because we're going to multiply both sides by x, and then we're going to divide by the cosine of 60. So in this case, on our calculator, we are actually going to punch in 3 divided by the cosine of 60. And you get 6. So x would have a value of 6. In number 23, do it on your calculator and get your answer. You should get x equals 22. Calculate number 24. You should get 7.5. If you're not getting that, you need to ask me why. It may mean you're not putting things in the right order. Calculate number 25, which we just did a bunch of these. Why did I put a degree symbol after this answer and I didn't after the other answers? Because on number 25, I'm looking for an angle measure. On these first 4 problems, I was looking for the length of a side. Okay? And side length is not expressed as degrees, but angle measures are. All right, and then number 26, just to finish off the page. X is approximately 46.7 degrees. Okay, that's using our calculator. Now, we need to know when to use sine, when to use cosine, and when to use tangent. And we had an acronym that we had created or looked at that helped us figure out when we use what. And it was SOHCAHTOA, where the S stands for sine, O stands for opposite leg, and H is for hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent leg and hypotenuse. Tangent, opposite leg and adjacent leg. So, in order to figure out if we knew the opposite or the adjacent or the hypotenuse, what do we need to start with? The angle. We need to start in our right triangle with the angle that has been given to us. And in reference to that angle, we decide what we know and what we're looking for. In this particular triangle, if I know that I have a 28-degree angle right there, and I am looking for this, and I am given this, in reference to the 28-degree angle, what are the 2 sides of the triangle that are labeled?